Morning, morning, morning. Morning, Roxanne. Thank you for my brooms. Sweeping time. Although you mightn't think so. Not anyway. Be strong. Sarah Mayas, morning, sir. Alberta Sampat, morning to you. Donna Walcott, morning. Morning, Ruckman. Blessed morning to you. Rude Trude. Good morning, J. Dimple 66. Good morning, Lisa. Lisa Atwater. Terrence Swan, morning, sir. Pauline Buckmeyer, Sean Charles, good morning. Denise Bramble, morning, Denise. Alberta Sampat, morning, Alberta. Carol Boyce John, good morning, Carol. Shelton Lewis, good morning. Margaret Thomas, good morning. Neil Francois, always present. Priscilla, Glenn Richardson, morning. Denise and Freddie Williams, morning to you guys. And this you are on Facebook. Marva James, morning, Marva. Alison Samuel, morning, Alison. Carol Myers, Carol, morning to you. What's the weather on your side looking like? Phyllis Antoine, morning. Claudius Alexander. Anne-Marie Bonus, morning. Morning, Diane. Joy Ragunanan, morning. Sarah Richards, morning to you. All of you guys. Alison Boyce, morning. Glenn Richardson, top of the morning to you as well. Henry Amsterdam, morning. Sir Emerson Brown, morning. Helen Batiste, good morning to His Excellency, the President of Pleasantville, Nigel O'Connor, and First Lady Marissa Kagan. Nigel is saying dry taps in Pleasantville. Oh boy, oh boy. Marvin, make a call. Pleasantville needs water. How long now you all without water, Nigel? Cynthia Jackson, morning. Denise Coggins, morning, Denise. Romeo is telling me no audio. Rudy Nicholas, morning to you. Anybody else having audio troubles? Morning, Ruth. Ashlyn Robertson, morning. 8 days. Nigel is telling me 8 days without water in Pleasantville. Oh boy. WASA. If there's anybody on here who work in WASA and can assist. Roxanne is saying 7 days no water. Oh boy. Okay. Sherwin Humphrey, morning, sir. Yes, Roxanne, I look well rested, but I hardly slept a wink last night, to be honest. Yeah. So many things on my mind. Today is one of those busy days. Yesterday was busy too. Board meetings yesterday and board meetings again today and other meetings. But the work has to get done. Jennifer Dossett, morning. Jama Alexander, morning to you. Beverly Jones, morning. Merle Durant, morning to you. Gail Jack. No school for the kids. Is that because of the water, Roxanne? That's really unfortunate. I hope the rains come soon because Roxanne is saying yes, because of the water, no school for the kids. Oh boy. Need to give Marvin a call or send him a WhatsApp. Hazel Martin, morning. Jefferson Clark, sorry, morning to you. Chris Damani, morning. Let's see. Glenn Richardson. Glenn says the African Exim Bank conference in the Bahamas, you have to go and report to us. Well, I'm supposed to have persons on the ground there, Glenn, who would be. Oh, Nigel is saying pipe repairs. Okay. Okay. Yes, Glenn. With respect to that conference, there will be persons, we're supposed to have persons on the ground there who would be able to give me um, information, because, and those are persons in Trinidad who have, well, how should I put it? They have a vested interest, a most vested interest in the African Exim Bank coming to Trinidad. In fact, they have been instrumental in trying to get that to happen, because there is a major project that is about to start very soon in the downtown Port of Spain area that is to be funded through that institution. Right? So Port of Spain, downtown Independence Square soon enough will be looking more and more like Manhattan. Stay tuned for that development. Yeah, Charmaine Richardson, morning, Fred. So let me jump straight into it, because I may have to jump off early this morning. As I said, it's another one of those busy days. Now, I wanted to start with a little bit of venting this morning, but let me just touch quickly on something I saw just now. Right? I hope I don't lose this. Right. So I saw CNC3 put out a post just now. I think it was CNC3. You see? Yes. Gary tells PM he's willing to assist in crime fight. And of course, headlines like that tend to grab people's attention, particularly that of the Headline Readers Association, who quick to jump into the comments and to give their 2 cents, their 4 cents, the penny's worth. And leading off the comments under that post is none other than the notorious Inshan Ishmael. Right? Let me just read what his comment was. The PNM and criminals go hand in hand. When criminals protest, block roads, and cause police, how many are charged? Also, in many PNM hotspots, no HDC rent, WASA, or TNTEC bills are paid because of instructions from the PNM hierarchy to don't touch them. Criminals thrive when PNM is in office, because the PNM has some of the biggest criminals as ministers and MPs. So says Inshan Ishmael. Now, whenever I'm sick and tired of the people the likes of Inshan Ishmael, who like to talk, anyway, I don't use profanities, but who like to talk this foolishness and push this dotish, idiotic, ignorant narrative about PNM supporters who live in HDC houses don't pay rent and they don't pay bills. As if there's only PNM supporters living in HDC. And he's not the first person and not the only person that I've seen. A lot of the fully dunce supporters like to repeat that nonsense. But ask him, he making a bold statement like that on a public platform, but ask him for the evidence. He can't provide it. But you know what? Just because he will say that's stupidness. The HDC is currently on an eviction drive, right? The minister quite recently would have made mention of the fact that they are seeing success in this eviction drive, that they would have given persons numerous opportunities to come in and settle their arrears, to set up a payment plan if you're behind in your rent and so on. And there are persons who continue because, okay, they realize, we get 1, 2, 3, 4 notices and the agency ain't really doing nothing. And it's not that some of them can actually pay, but they just choose not to. And then the rent reaches as the arrears is a significant amount, and then they find themselves in problems, right? But I am certain that that is why in 2020, around September, October, or thereabouts, when WASA decided to go on a disconnection drive, and they started disconnecting persons who were years in arrears, right? That's what they stated. Persons, they're going after persons who have been owing for years and have not been paying despite notices sent to them. You all remember what happened? The UNC decided to come to the rescue. This government, wicked and evil, that in these COVID times when people ain't working and people lost their work and they ain't have money, and now they come in to disconnect persons. But all over the country, wherever there were WASA offices, payment centers, you were seeing long lines of people with money to pay their bills, even if it's to pay a portion, to avoid being disconnected. Because it wasn't just these persons who were about to be disconnected. It's persons who realized they WASA in playing, so let me get on top of it. So if I'm not owing 8 months or a year, let me go and try to pay something so that they could see a paying and help the situation with all of this debt that WASA is in. What happened? You had people like the same clown coming to call the government wicked and heartless and cruel. And as was to be expected, WASA pull back. Minister tell them, hold all your hand. Right? Okay, people lend our money and whatever. And that was the last disconnection drive that WASA has gone on. Since then, the economy has reopened, it has recovered significantly, persons are back out to work, and the problem persists. Not just in PNM hotspots, as he wants to say, because I'm damn sure you have people in Bamboo too, who making plenty money selling car parts, whether it's genuine or stolen or whatever the case may be, who owe WASA money. Some of his own neighbors, and I wouldn't be surprised if he is probably one of them too. But some of his own neighbors who have money and whose pockets are deep, I am certain, on WASA's arrears list. In the same way, you could have big prominent businessmen owing the Board of Inland Revenue tens of millions of dollars in taxes. You have business owners and so-called wealthy people who have not been paying their WASA bill because they tell themselves, WASA don't disconnect. So what's the point? With swimming pool in the yard and using the most amount of water, they have 6, 7, and 8,000 gallon tanks in their backyard, right? They're using more water than everybody else and not paying WASA. Some big businesses are indebted to WASA. They're making money and not paying. But this clown, this consumer dunce, wouldn't speak to those persons. They're talking stupidness about the hierarchy of the PNM giving instructions to not touch people in PNM hotspots. Really? When it is that the HDC engaged and decided to start this latest eviction drive recently, wasn't that Rudal Munilal come out with the government thing? When we were in office between 2010 to 2015, we weren't evicting anybody. So nobody was in arrest between 2010 to 2015. But now, quick to jump out, right? Populists. Yeah, let me jump out and defend the people against this wicked and draconian government. That is the foolishness. First comment, and you get 21 likes for that. And this post was recent, probably in the last less than an hour. So I'm sure that as we go through the course of the day, the number of likes for that idiotic comment is going to grow. I understand based on postings I've seen on Facebook that he may not be in the best of health. Certain health, may possibly serious health challenges. So he should focus on that and keep quiet instead of coming on social media and bumping your gum and talking rubbish that has no basis in fact. Yes, I agree. In certain PNM hotspots, you probably have people who aren't paying their bills. But I highly doubt it's because the government or any minister pick up the phone and call the head of TNTech and say, don't disconnect anybody in this area. Or call WASA head office and call the head of the board, the chairman of the board, and tell him, don't disconnect anybody in this area, as the case may be. That is utter foolishness and rubbish. Especially when you have another headline where the minister is reported, or so the article says, that the potential budget deficit, I think, for 2024, maybe for fiscal 2023-2024, maybe in the order of $9 billion, given the shortfall in oil and gas revenues. And then, of course, tax evasion. Because we see $15 billion is owed in taxes. $15 billion. Now, if that $15 billion is paid, but to be paid this year, it would wipe out the $9 billion deficit and we would have a $6 billion surplus. But it is unfortunate that every time for the government to be able to collect taxes outstanding, they need to have an amnesty to facilitate that, right? Come, pay your taxes, you wouldn't pay any penalties and any interest. And even then, this administration has had at least, I think, 3 amnesties in the last 9 years, tax amnesties in the last 9 years. Where have persons been? All these people who win 30-something million and 60 and 90-something million, and those are just 2 that were mentioned. I am sure you have a lot of other prominent businessmen in this country who are in a similar situation. Why didn't they seek to take advantage of those tax amnesties? I recall, I think it was the first tax amnesty that Mr. Inbert had. That was for 3 months. 3 months. He was expecting to collect $500 million in outstanding taxes. In 3 months, he collected $2.4 billion in outstanding taxes. As opposed to the People's Partnership under Winston Dukaran, in their first tax amnesty that lasted for 10 months, they collected $750 million in outstanding taxes. As opposed to Carl Membert in 3 months, collected more than 3 times what the People's Partnership would have collected in 10 months. And that speaks to that whole issue of tax evasion and why it is we need the Revenue Authority. But as I saw in an article last night, the PSA has succeeded in, I think, getting a stay for the implementation of the Revenue Authority, pending the outcome of their pursuit of the final leg of their attempt to stop the Revenue Authority through the Privy Council. So once again, right, and let us take note of who it is that started this latest drive, naming and shaming the tax evaders. It's the Revenue Authority, right? The Revenue Authority, all the SBI, they're happening. The Revenue Authority, that isn't even fully functional yet, has already started to demonstrate what it is that they're going to do. Yeah, with respect to tax evasion and tax leakage. But I always remember David Abdullah saying that he would have had a conversation with a former PP finance minister. They had two, so we can narrow it down between the two of them, who told him that he estimated that on an annual basis, you have about $7.5 billion in tax evasion taking place. And when Abdullah asked the former minister, so why are you doing anything about it if you know that? He's reported to have said, and Abdullah has said that, well, it's our people doing it, so we can't do nothing. Our people doing it, so we can't do nothing. You know, our financiers and stuff, if we go after them for outstanding taxes, they wouldn't donate anything to the party for the election. So just leave it so. And we will make do with what we have. I could see that boldly, because when I sat down with Mr. Abdullah last day on I-95 to discuss the budget, I raised the issue with him and I told him, I know you said that on numerous occasions. He said, you're trying to put me on the spot. I said, no, it's not like you said this in secret or behind closed doors. This is something that you have said in public on numerous occasions. That's how I heard it. But but put them back in office and they have the answer to every problem. So as I said, I wanted to start off this morning quickly with a little event because I may have to jump off a little early. So one of our loyal listeners here, yes, exactly, Roxanne, you should carry that information to the police. Correctly, Ghana has a revenue authority. I think Barbados, a number of Caribbean countries have a revenue authority. But it's only in Trinidad here, these things can't work. It can work everywhere else, right? They have property tax in several Caribbean countries too, but in here, it can't work. No, these things cannot work here. So I was telling you, one of our loyal listeners here who lives in New York, but he has family living here. He's a Caribbean national. He's not a trader. Called me yesterday to ask me when is the next PNM's internal, when they have another public meeting. And of course, my response to him was, well, your guess is as good as mine. I really can't say. Like you, I wait with bated breath to see an advertisement come out or some notice of something that a public meeting will be held, right? And I continue so to do. Well, needless to say, that response was followed by a brief tirade that was flavored or seasoned with expletives. And to be honest with you, I really can't blame the man. I share his frustration and I understand his frustration. Because he doesn't live in Trinidad. He lives in New York. He has family here. And he looks forward. Anytime we have a PNM meeting and he see if the advertise is supposed to start 7:30 and he sees 7:30 and 5 seconds, he will call me or message me to find out what's going on with the meeting. It's still on. I tell him, well, yeah, they didn't start yet, as the case may be. And his frustration, of course, stems from the fact that the opposition is feeding the population a constant daily diet of propaganda, lies, misinformation, kuturu, bakana. Right? So the menu for lies and misinformation is expansive. Whereas the menu for truth, unfortunately, only offering hors d'oeuvres and appetizers. Yeah? Because the number of platforms available for you to hear truth, to hear sense, to hear facts is limited and continues to dwindle on a daily basis. And I too, this is not the first time, it's not the second time that I've expressed my frustration with the dearth of public meetings on the part of the party that I support. And these public meetings is not just to come and talk bacchanal and old talk and whatnot and pelpicon for the opposition, right? That is good. That adds flavor to the thing. But more important is that these public meetings are supposed to provide opportunity for the government to respond to some of the falsehoods that are currently pervading the social media space, and also to share with the population the things that the government is doing, the various ministries are doing, right? Because things are happening, and I keep saying, persons, but we're not really hearing about it. Unless you decide you're going to visit the website of the ministry, or a minister happens to do an interview on the TV or the radio station, you don't really hear much. Which is why I was pleased on the weekend when Minister Foster Cummings was on the barbershop to talk about his ministry and the things that his ministry are doing with respect to the youth, offering programs and opportunities. And I was very surprised as well, and pleasantly so, when I heard him say it's over 40 programs they have now, because when I interviewed him last year when I interviewed him on Synergy TV, on Real Issues with Dominic Romain, at that time, when he came in, they had only 16 programs, some of which were still in the embryonic state and were being formulated. In the space of about 10 months, they've now grown from 16 to over 40, which is very good. In fact, I saw there's a latest one that they would have launched yesterday. I think it was called Pipe, that has to do with, just now, let me get it here. I saw so many people sharing it. Just give me 1 sec. Let me pull this up here. As I'm touching on it, let me go ahead one time and touch. So aside from the sheet. Right, here it is. So plumbing skills training program. That's the PIPE. Plumbing skills training program. Successful participants will receive CBQ certification, and I hope that I'm putting that out there for the supporters of the Fully Dance, right, who say that these programs don't give you any kind of certification. Let me say morning to Natalie Jaikaran, Clown in Chief. Course duration 9 months, which consists of level 1 pre-craft, level 2 craft, and level 3 technician. Courses offered at WASA's headquarters, Farm Road in St. Joseph, 5 sessions per week, Monday to Friday. Select from 1 of 2 training times. Option 1, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. for 4 hours. Option 2, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. 4 hours. Right, deadline for applications. Applications open on the 4th of June 2024, and the deadline is the 18th of June 2024. You can pick up and drop off hard copy applications at the ministry's office, number 2 Elizabeth Street in St. Clair. So it seems like every week this ministry is bringing out a new program for the youth ages 18 to 35. So this narrative that it have nothing for the youth, no opportunities, and you get stipends are paid for these things as well, right? So yeah. But I was making the point that the challenge that we face, and I would have thought that by now, because clearly the UNC is in election mode, and one more thing that PNM will follow suit. But I was making the point that these public meetings provide a platform and a forum for ministers to share with the population what's happening in their ministries. Because I remember when I interviewed Marvin Gonzalez last year on Synergy as well, and he was both he and Foster Cummings, I recall, both of them, because remember the program was for 2 hours, and both of them said to me, I could only give you an hour. I said, okay, I'll work with that. And both of them ended up staying for the full 2 hours. And then at the end of it, they said, that 2 hours wasn't enough. It fly too fast. Because Marvin was telling me he was grateful for the opportunity, because when they go on these morning shows and so on, whether it's on radio or TV, all they give them is that 20 minutes. So they really can't speak in depth about the things that are happening in the ministry, to remind people of some of the things that they met when they came in and the remedies put in place to treat with these issues. So he was happy to get that, and he was looking forward to an opportunity to come back. Of course, we know the program is no longer a thing. I don't know what's happening. I was told it was going to come back on it. Anyway, I continue to use my platform to do the best that I can. But things are said on the UNC's platforms, and we're not getting the responses as we should, or where we should. So, for instance, on at least 3 occasions in the most recent past, Prasad Bisesa would have said on the platform, the Monday Night Forum, the PNM built nothing. They haven't built a single house in the last 9 years. And all the houses that they've given out in the last 9 years is what we built. That's what she says. General election 2015, you heard the UNC said nothing about building houses. The only thing they boast about they build hospitals, so they say, and they build 106 schools. And I keep saying, if you're so proud of building 106 schools, if you built 6,000 houses or 8,000 houses, as they've been claiming in the last few months, quite recently, I think you would have been trumpeting that in the 2015 general election to encourage people to vote for you. You would have talked about it between 2015 to 2020 when the PNM came out and were exposing you. No talk about that. It's only within the last year or so you hear them making mention about who they build a house, but can't seem to agree on how many houses that they built. Now, Passad says, now I don't know if it is the thinking of the leadership on our side is that, well, you don't need to respond to everything the opposition says. And I agree. You don't need to, because some things expose themselves. So like Passad Bissessa lying and saying that the people of Mon Diablo have no water in the pipeline, despite the fact that WASA are online the other day. And the residents themselves, some of whom look like they are supporters of the UNC, sent in videos to CNC Twitter, let them know, look, we have water. So those who spreading propaganda and misinformation online and saying we do have water in the pipe and whatnot, the minister promised us a regular scheduled supply, and it has been so, that has been fulfilled. So stop all your nonsense. So that was exposed. When it is, she said that the government increased the price of flour by 33%, and the following week, the price of flour dropped by 13 to 17%. The lie she's repeated the lie about they ain't build no house, not a single house. And she says that with gusto, right? As if that can be proven to be a lie. But I know that there are persons sitting in the audience who know that is a blatant lie, because some of them living in HGC houses that were built and that they know were built recently and that they now live in, that they have keys for. But that doesn't stop them from applauding and ringing bell and blowing flute and whatever it is, right? The same Passad Bissessa who was talking the other day about terrestrial lands and Ricky Rampasad and Ricky Ragunanan, sorry, and the houses that they built and the way that they were built, and HGC had to cancel the contract and all kind of thing. But you're saying they didn't build no house. But then you were just talking about that. So what bill? If no house and bill, what was that? And in the same terrestrial lands, that in a few months before the 2015 general election, Rudal Munilal told us that there were a number of houses ready for occupation. Now, obviously, when the media went to see these houses on this terrestrial lands that they paid $200 million for, remember, the People's Partnership purchased the terrestrial estate for $200 million TT dollars. All they found was a load of gravel, a load of sand, and tobacco, right? So clearly they were building house for ants, bachak, and so on, not for people. And today, there are a number of houses inside there that are currently occupied. So these houses were constructed, they were distributed, and persons are living there. In fact, I have clients who live in there, friends who live inside there, and so on. But she says that. But nevertheless, there ought to be some sort of response to some of the things that are being said. Because I have been interacting on a daily basis with supporters of the UNC in this group on Facebook called Trinidad and Tobago Politics 24/7 Microphone, or whatever it is, right? And what I've come to realize that I have a lot of them inside here that we would call them fully duns. The problem is it's not necessarily that they're fully duns, you know, some of them just ignorant because the constant diet of lies and propaganda that they get in from the UNC. Because if it's not the Monday night forum, we start the half a question Sunday morning press conference, the midweek press conference, then you have the underground report, Douglaya Politics, Doubles and Coffee, then the East Indian radio stations that are partial to the UNC. So all around you're getting it. And then you have on social media, on Facebook, kick out the PNM and other anti-PNM pages that are sharing foolishness, lies, and propaganda, right? So if that is all they're getting, and they're not seeing any significant responses from the PNM, whether it be on social media, on the airwaves, public meetings, then they're inclined to believe that what they're hearing is true, because we're not hearing the government coming out and saying this is not true. We're not seeing any sort of counter measures to tell you, well, this is what it is. So they're running with that. And then when I start to engage them now, because they're telling me, well, this, and then I give them, I don't just talk. So I will post articles, newspaper articles, and the like. For instance, same thing with Foster Cummins. When I was engaging one of these guys about the mega farms, and I asked, who shut down the mega farms and whatnot? They said, well, so why the PNM open back the mega farm? What's going on with that now? And I sent them a link to Foster Cummins' Facebook page with the Shade House program that's taking place down in Tucker Valley, there right now. And The guy was so surprised to see what taking place down there. He wasn't aware. So much so that they start off on the high horse because they figure they're right and they're ready to fight with me, and we go in toe to toe. And then when I start to drop facts at them now by providing them with evidence and hardcore evidence, not only do they pat down, some of them now have started resorted to, as they say, sliding in my DM to ask me questions because they're in this group and they don't want to see their fellow UNC supporters see them calm down and they're talking. So rather than ask me the questions because they want the information, they will send things and they tell me, well, you know, we didn't know that and whatnot. So why the government, how come the government not talking about them thing? And why they not advertising them thing and so on? I can't answer that. I can't answer. Because I wonder in the same thing too. But there are a lot of them who want to know. They want to know. So like some of them, when they tell me what the PNM do for the youth, and they have nothing for the youth, and then when I start to screen grab the flyers and the posters for these programs and share it, they want to know, well, how come they ain't talking about this and whatnot? Again, I can't answer that question. Because if you go on the Facebook, not the Facebook page, sorry, the website of the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service, I better they didn't have a website. That website is a waste of time. Whoever is responsible for the management of that website should be fired forthwith. And I don't know if it is the misleading the minister, because on Saturday when he was on the barbershop and he was saying that all this information is on the ministry's website. No, sir, it's not. Persons call me to ask me where they could get the link to sign up for these programs that they always hear me talking about. Because they said they went on the ministry website and they're not seeing anything, any way to be able to sign up. So I tell them, here, what? Go on the ministry's Facebook page. Because every day, whoever is responsible for the Facebook page, they're doing a very good job. The website, not so good. Right? And that is the problem. And when it is this situation, for instance, with the Auditor General and the Minister and the Ministry of Finance, what the public knows, or the majority of what the public knows of that whole situation, is what they read in the papers or they see and hear in the newscasts. Right? And the media would put their own little spin on it and twist it how they want. And so that has resulted in a situation where the Minister of Finance has had on numerous occasions to put out disclaimers and put out press releases correcting the misinformation that is being spread by the media with respect to that matter. Now, one would think that the ideal thing to do would have been to have a fulsome press conference where you Parliament and then field questions from members of the media, because not everybody looks at the Parliament channel. Now, I understood the situation because when the minister first presented the matter to the public in the Parliament, when he was seeking to get the extension of time for the Auditor General, he went into great detail and gave you the granular details of how this thing started off, what is the problem. So if you had looked at that, you would have understood what the problem is. So when it is you see some of the fully done supporters talking about 3.3 billion missing and Inward can account for 3.3 billion, and where the 3 billion gone and all of that. There is no money missing. There is none missing. And it is not that it cannot be accounted for. As the minister would have explained what the situation is, what caused the discrepancy, he explained it in great detail. But that should have been followed up. What the presentation he gave in the Parliament should have been followed up or should have been supported by a public meeting where he could do the same thing, repeated again. Right? A public meeting that would have been broadcast on, if it's TV6, CNC3, TTT, YouTube, the radio station, wherever. And he could come and explain to the population, this is what is what. Rather than people in the wilderness trying to figure out, well, what is this? Because they don't understand. Because the way it is being brought across and presented in the media is confusing some people. And that is why you have persons out there who continue to misrepresent the situation and claiming money thief and money missing. And I keep making the point. The hierarchy of the UNC, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Rudal Munilal, and the rest of them who like to run them out on the forum and whatever platform. You ain't hear not one of them say money thief. Not one of them has said money missing and the government can't account for it. They haven't said that. I keep saying the one person who spoke to the issue in detail was Rudal Munilal when it is he held a press conference and he claimed that the government cooking the books, that it would make up that figure to reduce the budget deficit from how much billions down to how many billions. But we see in this newspaper article today where it says that the minister is projecting a 9 billion deficit, right? Which If that is the case, then I don't understand why he would falsify figures to try and reduce our budget deficit, and then you come and you give what the budget deficit is going to be. I'm confused. But in any event, the minister would have laid the whole report, the one that the Auditor General was insistent on submitting. He laid it in the Parliament a couple of weeks ago, and he indicated that by the end of August, the amended report would be laid, showing the correct figures, right? That he and the ministry have been telling the population for the longest while. And the Auditor General agreed to review, and then he will submit the amended, updated report. So all who talking about money thief and they can't account for and whatnot, as I had to tell one of the fully dones, right? Rope and Biram will sell out because all ain't gonna know what to do with all yourself. What all you will do, then and we'll come and say that it would force the Auditor General to submit that report. But clearly she has demonstrated she ain't allowing nobody to force her to do anything, especially when you have an attorney like Anand Ramloka. But I made the point, we should have had at least 2 public meetings where this was spoken of, right? Now, I don't know if while I was out of the country, the minister had a press conference and he fielded questions. If he did, I stand corrected. But I am not aware that such would have taken place. Okay? But persons want the information. And there is only so much that I could do and so much that other persons could do. And the limited platforms that we have. And I keep repeating it. So we have 91.9. Now we're just down to Sharon 3 days a week. And Google, well, I understand that Google's time has really been cut up. And then you have, well, I think Daily Voice, who's still trying to figure out if he's balanced or biased. I don't know. So there's that. Then there's I-95.5. So you have Darren Marcel, 4 days for the week, Monday to Thursday. And then you have on Saturday, the barbershop. And I think John Benoit is on a Wednesday on I-95, I think so. And that's basically it for radio. Social media, you have myself, you have Jenny. We don't have Juliet anymore on radio. And from time to time, Juliet would hop on and do a little live, but I think she's still on sabbatical with respect to that. We no longer have Rhoda Barrett News Source. Who else we have? That is the sum total. Because if you go on the PNM page, yes, you will see advertisements for things happening in the party, but in terms of information to debunk things that the UNC is saying, it's not there. It's not there. So, but, you know, let me don't go there. But I have to say that, you know, when I got that call yesterday and I felt the guy's pain, the only thing he didn't do was cry because he's fed up. He's fed up. And every time I turn on my TV or if I go on social media or whatever, I go on YouTube, I see an UNC popping up. Now would have been a right time, the opportune time for the government to come out and speak to what it is it's doing. Because you have the media looking for all kind of articles. They post up an article about the NIF fund posted a $2 billion loss. And again, that is similar to what would have happened with the Heritage and Stabilization Fund 2 years ago with respect to the paper loss in terms of the value of the assets and so on, the going down on the stock market and the like and what. But they wouldn't present it in that way. So that is feedstock for the UNC and the minions and other opposition forces to come and say, yeah, I thought him but say the blue skies ahead and all of that foolishness. The economists wouldn't come out and explain to the people this is what is what. They stay in quiet because everybody have a vested interest. Whatever it is, they wouldn't declare it. But that is the problem, right? So I see someone saying here Aisha is biased as well. I have not, to be honest, I have not had opportunity to look at one of Aisha's programs as yet. I'll try to see if I could do so one of these days. But from what I've heard from some people is that, yeah, it leaves much to be desired. But let me not attack Aisha's program. Kudos to her for whatever it is that she's doing. But there needs to be some level of countermeasure because in the absence of, or with there being a shortage of facts to counter the lies that are currently out there, seeds are being sown in the mind, not just of persons who are anti-PNM, but you have persons who support the PNM, who believe in some of these things and they're saying, by saying voting now. What's the point of voting? They're hearing these lies in their workplace. Conversations are being had. and the people do not have the information that they need to come and say, hey, that is not true. Because when I'm in my office and conversations are being had, they know, come straight at me, make sure you have your facts. Because I always have mine, and I don't play with that. I let them know you're talking rubbish. I will tell them to their face, where you that stupid talk from? Well, let's buy cat and bag it, and I will let them know this is what the truth is, this is what the facts are. And if you want, let me WhatsApp you the article. Let me WhatsApp you 2 articles. Read that. You know about this? You know about that? So they know better than to come around me. And if they know that they're supporting the fully done, and they see I step in, conversation done. Because they want to continue to push the narrative, and they know I will show them up. I don't play that. But we need to have this information more out there so more people could do that in the office or when they're lying in the bar or wherever it is these conversations are being had around the country. So that when misinformation is being shared, that they could say, hey, that is not true, rather than just sit down like little Jack Horner in a corner and you're listening when my party. I can't defend that. Is it true? Because you believe it's true because you're not hearing anything to counter that. So my friend had a right to be upset. Has a right. I don't know what the strategy is. I just like him, I waited to see what's going to happen. Because I don't want to believe that we're going to wait until 2 and 3 months before the election and then start to have 2 and 3 meetings a week. By then, persons' minds have already been made up. And anything that you come to say at that point in time, they'll say, yeah, that's just election gimmick. They're just saying that or whatever it is. So whether it is persons have made up their minds they're going to vote for the UNC or if they make up their mind they're not voting. Plenty of them make up their mind already they're not voting based on the things that they are hearing. Not what they should be hearing, but what they are hearing. That is most unfortunate. And again, keep seeing that the few, I don't know who is next on the chopping block. Who next on the chopping block? I don't know. We can next say we come here, Sharon going to, or here Google, I don't know. And then what? Then what? I recall when the People's Partnership was in office. CNMG, the 91, Talk City 91.1. 6 to 9 in the morning, they had the underground report. And following them, you had a little 1 hour break, and then you had Marcia Brave Boy from 10 to 12. Again, pushing UNC People's Partnership propaganda and so on. Constant. You had voices, your government working for you if they put on a standpipe. They're running that ad 5, 6, 10 times for the day. Only 10 voices, your government working for you. They're dropping the voice newspaper on you. It's all up in your face. All in your face. It was there. And I am saying, even if, I'm not saying do the same thing that they did, but there must be somebody who could sponsor a 1 hour program or a 2 hour program and Talk City 91.1 for the week or whatever it is to get the information out. Because it is not getting out. And when it is that I am persons who I know are supportive of the PNM sending me stupidness on WhatsApp, I am concerned because these are people who I know supporting the party, riding with the party, but then they're seeing things that looking, if you don't know and you ain't good for yourself and you're reading these things, you will get frightened, you're concerned. And then I also have to be debunking at a tell a little, send me this nonsense. And I will correct it. Look the facts. Hold that. Take that. So a lot of my days spent doing that. Fighting with these fully done, some of them. So I might be engaged in an exchange with one of them, and then 2 and 3, 4 decide to jump in the fray, and they want to get in the dance too. So I felt 10 blows, there's 4 and 5 of them are fighting at the same time. So every time I look at my phone, my screen full up. I only see a notification from Facebook. This one respond, and that one respond. And then I had to be going there, pulling ads, going into Google to pull up this article to give this one, and then send this article to that one. And so we go and hold it. Them taking up my time that I could be using to earn money. And I keep telling them, I don't get paid to do this, you know. It's a labor of love because I genuinely believe the PNM is the better option of the two. But not just of the two, all of them. Whether it be Patriotic Front or PEP, NTA, whoever. Same like a lot. I know Makila now come out and she's trying to do a thing, but I've listened to a few interviews that she's done, and she's made some rather concerning statements. Yesterday, she was on 91.9. She did an interview with Daily Voice. And she said some things there that, you know, that, yeah. But I'm not about attacking Makila at this point in time. Because I see what she's doing. She has no choice but to do what it is that she's doing because she's trying to get her foot in. So I'm dealing with the main one right now. But if the time comes that I need to deal with her, that will be done. But we need to have more people out there armed with the information so that they could do. I'm not saying that you need to go and do a live, but if you encounter anybody talking rubbish, or you're in a WhatsApp group, because you have sometimes people in private WhatsApp group, they send screenshots, political conversation going on, and the culture this, that, and person will send me screenshot of what the UNC person say, and then I know how to go and look to get an article to counter that, to send it to them to put in the chat. And so I go, hold it, that's what my days, yeah. That's what I do it. Feeling information to share. So I'm just the resource pool. Yeah. I find it fair. But there needs to be more people like that. Not just to do that, so that you could arm yourself. Because I keep saying, I get very upset when I see UNC supporters putting in chats. Name 2 things the PNM do in the last 9 years. Name 5 things the PNM do in the last 5 years. And PNM supporters are unable to rise to the occasion. Because they don't know. Now, I'm not saying I have all the answers. But I want to give you an example. Let me just share something with you. We keep saying, utilize the few activists that you still have on social media and so on, because our platforms have reach. Let me give you an example here. Let me get this in. Okay, see, they underestimate insights. Right. So let me get this in. No, you're most welcome. Settings, tools, audience reach, page insights. So I'm reading here from the professional dashboard of the Debunking UNC Lies with Facts page. That's the Facebook page. Performance, last 90 days. Our page in the last 90 days has reached 232,000 persons in the last 90 days. Prior to that, the previous 90 days, 542,000 persons would have interacted with our page or seen stuff that we would have posted. 542,000 in the previous 90 days, and in the last 90, 232,000. Page engagement, 150,000 persons in the last 90 days. In the last 90 days, we would have gotten an additional 276 new members, new subscribers. In terms of the short videos that we did in the last 90 days, these videos would have gotten engagement by 224,000 persons. 1-minute videos in the last 90 days, 42,492 persons. All these, this is what Facebook is telling me. I didn't make this up. They give me all the breakdown here. They said in terms of the demographics and the subscribers to the page, well, the majority of our subscribers are women, right? 51%, 51.8% women and 48% men. Persons between the ages of 18 to 24, 2.2%. Persons between the ages of 25 to 34, 9.2%. 35 to 44, 20.4%. 45 to 54, 20%, and so on. And they give us all of the figures here. So we see the type of reach that the page is getting. Right? So, but I remember one time during the internal election, somebody felt a job that was intended for me. And it was said, not because you're on traditional media means that you are the best person for the social media job. But to be a social media officer, you need to have a following on social media, following on TikTok and so on. I'm not on TikTok and I'm not interested, but I know the pages on TikTok. And we actually, based on what the admin has been sending for me, we're getting good traction on TikTok. It was also said that the person you have to be trolling people profiles all day and all of these different things that you need to be able to do and whatnot and stuff. And then, okay, I didn't find it. It is what it is. But this page that we started just about a year and 3 months, a year and 2 months ago, that's the kind of reach that we get. And I'm not bragging or whatever, but I just want to give you an example. And I just do this 3 times a week. But with the other posts that are created by the admin and so on, it is getting traction. So almost on a daily basis, anywhere that I go, I encounter people stop to introduce themselves. I walking on the promenade the other day, a woman stopped me. You're doing a good job, so on. I was looking to cross the street, going to First Citizens Credit Card Center, delivery truck stop, and the guy, you know, said, "You don't know me, but I listen to the program and thing, and good job and what." And I get that on a daily basis. So I don't know how many people who we reach, as the case may be, but to make the point, I am concerned about, anyway, I think I've made that point, right? I think I've made the point quite clear. So I look forward to the next, like my good friend, to the next public meeting, because there are a number of issues that are taking place right now, and by the time a meeting is held, I'm sure we're not going to hear about a lot of those things. But things are happening in ministries that we need to know about. And I would have learned a lot of stuff from Foster Cummings' interview on Saturday, which I didn't know before, because I'm not getting the information on the website. And there's only so much I will get off of his Facebook page, and only so much I will get off of the ministry's Facebook page. But if they ask me what's going on in other ministries, I can't tell you. I don't know. I have to wait until these ministers give interviews or go on the Facebook page. Now, I can tell you the Ministry of Works and Transport doing significant amount of work in terms of paving roads, because we don't really see no set of fires these days about roads, complaints about the state of the roads and so on. It's still there, but it lessened. But I recall a press conference the Prime Minister did not too long ago, where he chastised the media, characterized them as being echo chambers for the propaganda of the opposition. And journalists took issue with that. In fact, the first one to speak when the Prime Minister opened the floor for questions was Akash Samaru of CNC3. And he spoke about as a member of the fourth estate and so on. And they take issue with the Prime Minister's characterization of them in that manner. It's not that they are echo chambers for the opposition in terms of only publishing things that the opposition says. He said the problem is that when they reach out to ministers, whether it be through WhatsApp, text message, emails, calls, that the ministers are not answering and they're not responding to the questions that are being posted. And therefore, if they're not getting the information from the ministers as to what is happening, they could only publish what they have. And it seems the UNC is more than willing to entertain them and spread the propaganda and the lies. And the Prime Minister's response, well, if that is so, and there are ministers in my cabinet who are doing that, then they're in the wrong job. They are in the wrong job. If it is that they are not taking interviews and questions and not responding to requests from the media, they're in the wrong job. He said that. I'm not accusing anybody here, but because I know ministers are very busy. They have a lot of work to do. Government is doing a lot of work. But if you're doing the work and people not seeing it, they're not hearing about it, they don't know that it's happening, because the people who live in South and who based in South and will not come up to the East and the West and the North, they don't know what's happening. I hardly ever go down South. So I don't know what's happening down South, even except if I see something posted up. I don't know. That's the problem. What we could do? I see the leader of the opposition is still on her campaign of making promises. So, let me get this here. See this one. The latest of promises. Did I save it here, boy? No, it's on the other page. Just now. So, let me get this here. Hold on one sec. Where did I save this? I know I saved it. Yes, okay. All right, so. All right. I'm not in the glee about that. I don't know why I'm not finding this article, but in the right, now I remember where it was. It was on her Facebook page. That's where it was. So that's why I didn't save it. Just now, give me one sec, let me just pull this up here. She loves to toot her own horn. A UNC administration, or rather UNC government, will put police in schools. Put police in schools, okay. Brilliant, brilliant. A UNC administration would free up the jails of non-violent offenders, reform bail laws, and introduce an anti-bullying app for students, but only if the UNC is led by the star team and it wins the party's internal election on June 15th. Let me repeat that. A UNC administration would free up the jails of non-violent offenders, reform bail laws. Reform bail laws. When I saw that, I had to put on my glasses, which I do very often, to make sure that is what I saw. Reform bail laws? Really, Mrs. Pasad-Bisasa? Why? To what end? Are you all not the proponents of bail for everybody? Didn't Jayanti Lakshmi said denying people bail would result in single-parent homes, and you all are not in support of denying people their right to apply for bail, Mrs. Pasad-Bisasa? Was it not your party, the 19 miscreants in the parliament sitting on the opposition bench, when the anti-gang legislation came up, which would have seen persons who are arrested for being involved in a gang denied bail? You all decided not to support that legislation, Mrs. Pasad-Bisasa? Was it not your team in the parliament when the bail amendment bill came up with sunset clause that would have seen persons and gun offenders, repeat gun offenders, persons when you see them, they get hold with these big guns that could lick down, according to Gary Griffith, could shoot up 30-something 100 rounds in a minute and all of that. To see that if they are caught with these guns, they would be denied bail. They wouldn't be able to apply for bail in the first instance for at least 120 days. And you all were against that. That when the anti-gang legislation came up again, you all said, we want the data. Give me the data. Where is the data to show how many people was arrested and that this law is effective? Because Munilal come and say, based on the figures, the stats that we getting from the police service here, this thing reading like a binary card is 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. This implies that the law not working because they are locking up enough people under this legislation, so it will make no sense. We're not supporting it. Legislation scrapped. But now you want to talk bail reform because you happen to notice that a man who was let out on bail, despite the fact that he was on a murder charge, thanks to Jayanti and other UNC lawyers, he would have been able to apply for bail and got out on bail. And then while he was out on bail, he was held by the police for having been in possession of a stolen vehicle and found himself back before the court, applying for bail again, and he got bail again. So now he's out on bail for 2 separate crimes. And who knows how many crimes he's committed since he's been out on bail the second time. Because clearly he shows he has a propensity towards a life of criminality. Some people just cannot be reformed. We see, so now you're vexed because how a man who out on bail for murder could come and get bail again. And you want the master of the High Court who gave him the bail to be investigated for possible misbehavior in public office. Because he or she did what you all keep saying is correct, that the person has a right to apply for bail. And notwithstanding the fact that the prosecutor and the police made very strong arguments to have this person remanded, I guess the UNC lawyer was much better. Look, we see one of the men who was held, I think probably the only one who was held, for the kidnapping of Anisha Hussain, or Alicia Hussain, whatever her name is, from Source Doubles, that he is now on $150,000 bail. After he was part of a team that kidnapped this young woman, terrorized her for several days, and then I guess when they realized the police was on their heels, decided to release her, hoping that that would be the end of that. Unfortunately, that was not the end of that. And 4 of them are now pushing up daisies. Right? But he out on bail, $150,000. I wonder if Jayanti have an issue with that. Because hey, if you lock him up and you deny him bail, what will his children do? How will they eat? How will they go to school? How are you buying books for them and school supplies and other things? How will the electricity bill be paid? Forget them, don't pay. According to international, them don't pay bills. because the hierarchy of the PNM give instructions for them to leave them alone. Yeah, so when the TNTech van passed because the bill in arrest, is apparently you see a sign on the meter. The Prime Minister said, pass this house street. Oops, all right. Next house. Yeah, the Marvin Gonzalez say pass this house street. Forget that. We have a list, let me see. I have a list here of all who are supposed to leave alone. Let me see if this house, yes, this house on the list here. So leave them alone, right? Right. Pull up scripts. Let me see here, boy. Yeah, them on the list to leave alone. Right. Drive down. Let me see what I say. Yeah, this house on the list to drive down. Right, everybody in this area on the list. Yeah, let me go. Up the road. Yeah, according to international, that's how it is work. Right? But she's coming now to talk about bail reform. The same legislation that you have not been supporting for the last 9 years. The same bail legislation that when you were the Prime Minister, it worked. It was effective. And as soon as you come out of office and you realize we need to create an environment where crime could thrive, right? We need to ensure that the criminals are back out on the street to do what it is they do best, because we need to continue to perpetuate the narrative that under the PNM, crime always goes up. How do we do that? Because if the criminals behind bars, because they can't get bail, then they can't be outside to commit the crimes. So what do? We get our best and brightest to run to the court. So we will do what we can inside in the parliament side in terms of the laws and opposing the laws and making sure that it doesn't get passed. And those that are in existence, we will send Annan and Jayanti to go in the courthouse and get it overturned. But we just need to make sure that we have sufficient criminals outside there wreaking havoc. And when they realize now water more than flour and see the kind of gun firepower these guys have and how relentless they are in the pursuit of criminal activity, and they realize, hey, but even if we win, how are we pulling back this thing, boy? Because we facilitated the ability for them to get bail. So even if we come into office and they committing the crimes, how we holding them, how we pegging them back? Because the police could hold them now, and in the next 3 to 5 days, they're back outside committing crimes again. That's why they don't care. We're concerned about what this unfortunate incident that happened in the hospital there with the killings. And condolences to the families of those young men who were killed. In particular, that young man who went to my alma mater, Jaden, 21 years old, working Republic Bank call center. I understand he was in his 3rd year of medical school at UE, and that life is snuffed out. Potentially a young, bright, upcoming lawyer is now deceased. Deceased because of foolishness, because of some people who just cannot understand what it is to be law-abiding, right? So this poor young man, his mother is in grief, his family is in grief, and the contribution, the positive contribution that he could have made to society has now ended, right? So any issue that would have come from him in terms of kids and so on, that dead, all of that gone. The money that he would have earned to support his family and improve the lives of all of that just gone, right? He take all of that to the grave, unfortunately, because somebody have firepower and they feel they need to use it, and they don't care who they're dead and who badly wounded. Well, it is what it is, right? But these people, even if they get caught, even if they are caught in the morning or they caught today, it makes no difference. They will apply for bail, and within days, for some reason, the judiciary seems to favor these guys. They back out on the street, because I don't understand. If you kill somebody or somebodies and you have been charged and there is evidence, how the hell the judiciary can say you are not a threat to public safety and feel that it is good to have you back out on the street? I would love to understand what is the thinking. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in one of those courtrooms to hear what is being said by all parties and to understand the logic of these persons who feel that somebody who shoot up a vehicle, in the case of the Pennywise heist, killed 2 people, significantly wounded another person, were in possession of some serious firepower, and you think that it makes sense to have such a person back out on the street. And you set bail $1 million, and simply deny bail, let them apply. But we keep reading stories about that. Every day, you pick up the newspapers, you're on social media, bail, murder accused gets bail, bail. So that these guys are no longer, they're running up in the hospital, no big thing. So what? If they catch us, we know we'll be back out in a few days. Like the other day when they killed the fella in front of the Belmont police station, he went to sign a book, and as he stepped out of the police station, right in front of the police station, they lick him up. No regard for the police, because hey, even if they chase us, two things that happen. Is either they open fire and you end up dead, you end up on a slab in Forensic Science Center in Federation Park, or they hold you, lock you up, and you're back out on bail, free to do what it is that you've been doing. So even if the crime detection rate goes up, it serves no useful purpose. If these miscreants are not held and kept behind bars, then what's the point? Holding them, they just have a case before the court, a case that is probably going to take a year or 2 years to call. Instead of 10 under the new system with the removal of the preliminary inquiry, it will take a little less time. But in that time, right, any potential witnesses who could speak to the issue and who could result in a conviction, living in fear. So you know what? I ain't see nothing, I didn't hear nothing, I don't know nothing. Because it can't be, the police hold this man, I know for a fact he committed the crime. And then I see him walking the street 3-4 days later. Madness is that. Because I don't want to be a statistic. Don't want to be a statistic. So now Prasad Bisesa sees after they open Pandora's box and they realize that if they get into office, it's pressure to close it back. You're coming now to talk about bail reform. You can't be serious. You cannot be serious. I get this. Let me see if I get this thing. Where is this article? But when we point out the fact that the UNC is to blame for the state of crime, the supporters here, when you blame Kamala, it's Rowley had to go on hindsight. Let me remind you all of this article, dated November 22nd, 2020. Israel Khan, brace for more crime. UNC will pay high price. This is Israel Khan, the attorney for Kamala Prasad Bisesa. This is Israel Khan, the UNC's nominee for president in the last election that was held for president. Same Israel Khan. The same Israel Khan who's on public record, right, stating that he will be voting for the UNC's Tunapuna candidate in 2025, and he recognizes Kamala Prasad Bisesa as the de facto, de jure leader of the UNC. So we know where his political allegiances lie. The failure of the government and the opposition to come to a middle ground and extend the life of the Anti-Gang Bill 2020 could only lead to higher levels of crime in TNT, says senior counsel Israel Khan. Crime will get worse, but the UNC will pay a high political price for not supporting that bill. The people are not blinded by PNM or UNC. The intelligentsia in the country would not vote for a party that is indirectly supporting crime, he told the Sunday Guardian. And he ain't talking about the PNM there. On Friday, following a debate in Parliament, the motion to extend the 2018 anti-gang bill for an additional 2.5 years was defeated after all 19 United National Congress MPs abstained from the vote. But you want to come and talk rubbish now about put you back in office and we will get bail reform? Miss me with that BS. The government had presented an amendment to extend the life of the bill for another 30 months. It required a 3/5 majority of the 41 MPs for passage. Khan called on all oppositions to carry out the work of the nation and not just represent their own narrow interests. I cry shame on the UNC for protecting their selfish and narrow interests. They believe that if crime exists and there is a disruption in society, that will assist them in getting back into government because people will be fed up of the present government. That is a very selfish approach in the politics of this country. Isn't that what we see in today? Israel Khan told us that in 2020, the party that he supports, he said he cries shame on the UNC. He didn't say he cries shame on the PNM because the PNM was looking to extend the life of the bill, to extend the life so that when these fellas are caught, they will spend some time on remand and they're not outside to continue the crime. But let me just read that again, right? Quickly. Crime will get worse. Has crime gotten worse? Yes, it has. Did Israel Khan say in 2020 that crime will get worse because of Ulla Christopher being Commissioner of Police? Did he say crime will get worse because Fitzgerald Hines is the Minister of National Security? Did he say crime will get worse because the PNM would be in power? No, he said crime will get worse because the UNC is playing politics with crime. He is saying it. The UNC will pay a high political price. And then Gary Griffith, who was commissioner of police at the time, and begged them to support the bill. He is on record as saying, after the bill failed, he said, I hope that the members of the opposition or the opposition politicians pray to their gods, right? That the outcome, because he said this bill, this legislation would have contributed to the decline in the number of murders, right? In that year. Gary Griffith said that. Today, he's offering his services to the Prime Minister and the government because he has the solutions and the answers to peg back crime. His words. But here it is in 2020, you told us a critical piece of legislation that contributed, that reduced the number of murders for that year, or stemmed the number of murders for that year by at least 100. He said without that legislation, the murder toll would have been 100 more than it was. This single piece of legislation did that. You are trying to help the government to fight crime and peg back the criminals and so on. All the thing you talk about, no mention of this piece of legislation that you told us, notwithstanding everything else that you're offering and everything else that you say will contribute to pegging back, was assisted by this piece of legislation. No talk about this legislation. What happened? You forget about that? No talk about that piece of legislation. No call for them to bring it back. And this time for the civil society to call on the opposition. If Kamala talking bail reform and she's serious about bail reform, challenge her. Don't wait until after the election. How many people are going to die between now and then? Come, let me sit down now and talk that. We're talking nothing else. We want to bring back this bill and we want you to support it because you're claiming if you come back in office, you will engage in bail reform. What is your definition of bail reform? Demonstrate it now. Put your money where your mouth is. Don't come with Panday line. It is not the job of the opposition to make the government look good. Put country before party for once. Just for this one time, Kamala. Put country before party. We know your philosophy is party before country, otherwise go to hell. Go to hell. Well, the country going to hell from a crime perspective because you decide to put party before country. So we're asking on this one occasion, just once, put country before party now. How difficult is that? But your own attorney, the man who represented you in the email gate affair, is saying that the UNC will pay a high price. He didn't say that about the PN. He said UNC. The crime will increase. And we have seen that come to pass. And he said this 4 years ago. Today, we see it come to pass. So all the supporters who want to come and talk about nonsense about the borders, porous, and well, it had no scanner and the port, and all that kind of BS. Nonsense. Money has been spent and allocated, and the scanners have been ordered. So you don't go on Amazon and type in scanners, port scanners, and you could order 5 and 6 and put it in your cart and hit submit and pay, and then it reach here. Amazon deliver it in 5-6 days, right? These are custom built things, and it takes some time for it to reach and set up. So miss me with all that BS, that's all you're coming about, oh, Hines must go and we want crime plan. Gary Griffith, when he was Minister of National Security, said he will not be bullied into no crime plan because them things don't work. Those things don't work. And I keep making the point, it matters not crime plan, police vehicles, increase in manpower, these things do not matter. If when you apprehend, the men are not being incarcerated, once they're outside, they will commit crimes. So even if the police, every time a crime is committed, if 2 days later they hold the person and they arrest them, if they're going to get bail, it makes no difference. They back out to do the same thing that they were doing before. Simple as that. So I don't understand all this foolish talk. Where is Israel Khan now? You told us that in 2020. You predicted it. Correctly so. It didn't take much to make that prediction because even the according to us guys, a 2-year-old child could have tell you that would have happened. And now they see how out of hand it gets in, right? Because according to them, the persons who are being targeted are members of their community. Members of their community are being targeted. They open this Pandora's box. How do you fix it? Because now they are at risk. Because they thought it would have been confined to, as they like to say, the PNM hotspots. They will kill out each other. So all of them in Lavantil and Beetham and Silas, they will kill out each other in Beetham and Silas. So it's confined to that area. But now it's happening all over the country. It's happening all over the country because they're moving all over. And it seems that the home invasions, according to them, that the majority of persons it's happening to is them, their community. And how do you fix it? Now you're talking about put us back in office and we'll put police, full-time police in school. So what's the purpose of this security that the school paying for? What the police going to do? So you go in and set up so schools will now become quasi-police stations. You go in and hire thousands of police officers to just sit down behind a desk all day in a school from 8 to 2? Really? That making sense. So what they're going to do? Well, maybe you really need the police because since all they plan to make it easier for law-abiding citizens to get guns and firearm users licenses, I verily believe we're going to see a proliferation of articles in the newspapers once they come back into office of a child being held in school with a firearm, or some child get killed or shot in school with a firearm that law-abiding mommy and daddy were able to acquire thanks to the benevolent government. And because mommy and daddy didn't secure it properly, or because daddy feels that he needs to show his 13 and 14 and 15-year-old son how to fire a gun, and in case mommy and daddy gone out and only home alone and somebody running the house, let me show you. This is the code for the safe. Right? This is the code for the safe. So you could open it and use the gun to defend the household if we're not here and something happened. Right? Mommy and daddy going to work and the child traveling to school and beep, 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 beep. Carrying this gun to study to show off. Let me read this article for you. Where does time fly? And I told you all I had to jump up early today. No? Ah, boy. Time does really fly, yes? Let me get this thing here. Where is it? Where is this article? Come on, man thing. Like this, I don't know what's going on here, why this thing not open. Just give me 1 sec, let me try something else here. Right, let's see here. Right, so the article that I wanted to read was, I think in Sangre Grande is where it happened, in a TNTech office. A man went to pay his bill. He has a licensed firearm. Bent down to pick up something. Gun went off and the security guard got shot. Security guard was shot in his leg. Fortunately for him, it was in his leg and it was non-life threatening. He's still alive today to tell the tale, but he has an injury and probably on sick leave. Right? A law-abiding citizen who have a firearm that clearly wasn't properly secured. How much more stories like that we expect to hear when they come back into office? Oh, you're a law-abiding citizen, you could get a clean certificate of character, no problem. Firearm user's license for you. Next, yeah, your certificate of character, what's saying there? Clean? All right, good to go. Next, hold your, come back in 2 days and they'll get you your firearm user's license. Go and pick out your gun and come back. You have money to buy a gun because remember, apparently gun cheap or gun free. Yeah, that's their solution. So another story, again, in a house, 2 family members fighting, gun pull out, man get shoot. How many more stories like that can we expect to hear? But that is their solution to crime. But understand something. The mere fact that their solution, they're not telling you anything to peg back crime. Their solution to the crime problem is to create the Wild Wild West, right? So they are telling you here what? If you put us in office, the home invasions, we expect the home invasions to continue. So you need to get a gun, arm yourself so you could defend yourself when the home invasion happens. So we have no plan, no idea, no strategy to stem the tide of home invasions. So we will simply arm you, give you the ability to be able to defend yourself. So when the home invaders come, you could is kill or be killed. Whoever is the quickest draw, well, right. So hopefully you are the quickest draw. We do expect school violence to ease up in the school if we come into office. So you know what we're going to do? Rather than share with you strategies to stem the tide of school violence, we're going to put police in the school because we expect you're going to be fights. We expect that you're going to see more stabbings. We expect that you're going to be hearing our students coming to school with guns and so on. So we want to make sure that the police on site one time. So intervene in some way or the other, whether it is to stop the fight or if it is to take notes, early notes, because somebody child just get killed. So don't expect to see any abatement in the crime. What we'll simply do is provide strategies so that you and the criminals could square off better. All right? So don't expect to see any decline in kidnappings, as the case may be. When they come to hold up your business place and kidnap you, we will make sure you have your firearm on your waist so you could pull out your gun and bust 2 shots and deal with them. Right? You could load up the matic, pull it back, knock it on them, and knock it again. Yeah. So don't expect to see no let up in the crime. But we will help you to make sure you are in a better position to defend yourself when the criminals come and knock it. That ain't going on fix. But put them back. They are the solution to crime. They are the solution to everything. So Makila Pandey saying yesterday, if you put her in office, the first thing she's going to deal with is the economy. Really? What's wrong with the economy, Makila? What's wrong with the economy? Yes, we have a shortage of foreign exchange because of a decline in energy production, both on the oil and gas side. So we're not getting as much revenue as we should. And as we know, the law requires the energy companies to pay at least 75% of their taxes and royalties in US dollars. But if the quantum or the value of those taxes and royalties is small, then the amount of forex that we're going to get from those liabilities is small as well, which is the problem we're facing now. And then everybody wants to open a business, a retail business, right? Nobody don't want to go into manufacturing where you could make things and sell it abroad and earn foreign exchange. No, we know about our life. Not, we want to open a store, get tons of US dollars, bring in thing, and then we sell it for TT dollars, put the TT dollars in our bank account, and then run to the bank and say, I need more US dollars so I could import more stuff to sell in TT dollars, put the TT dollars in my bank account, and then come and buy more stuff and repeat the process. But I'm not earning or generating any US. All I'm doing is demanding it and drawing down for US dollars to pay for my imports to come in. I'm not selling anything outside, so I'm not making anything. But it's the government fault. The foreign exchange problem is the government fault. So I scrolling through, going in my email, and I see email come up from Amazon. We found something you might like. Click, let me see what. Oh, good, yeah, boy. I like that. Add to cart. Let me see what else they had there. Ooh, that looking good. Add to cart. Add to cart. Add to cart. All right, good. Go to checkout. Click on that, right? Ting, plus the fees and whatever. Nice. Click submit, pay. Right. And that has to be paid for in US dollars. So the bank had to find the US to pay that for you. So you're going, but it's the government fault. Even in the face of the 7% online tax, that hasn't caused any decline in the amount of people who run in online to buy stuff, because they're telling you, even with the 7% tax, it's still cheaper than if it is I buy it here. So I will pay the 7% tax plus whatever fees when it come in and so on. And it still costs me less than if I go in the store and I buy it here. That's the mindset. Right? Or you run abroad and you have, because for some reason now the bank's giving everybody and the dog credit card. Come. And then they're increasing your limit without you asking. So you're going to use your credit card, and when you check on you check your balance or your limit and you see, that's my limit. When that happen? You don't even know. They just decide, yeah, this person does pay well. Let me increase the limit. And you just spending and waiting happening, making demands for US. But it's government fault. It's Rowley fault. It's the central bank fault. It's Imbud fault. It's not my fault. No, not your fault. I want a vessel and I want this. I want the newest Sportage and so on. Okay, there is demand for it. All right, we need money. We need US dollars to bring in these cars because people buying it. No problem. US dollars have to pay for it. Not so. When the car comes into Trinidad, what you're paying is TT dollars you're using to pay for it. And that is generating no US. But anyway, we ain't studying that. But in the interest of time, there's one more thing I wanted to touch on. A development out of Tobago. I'm going to take a drink of cranberry juice. So let me just touch briefly on the transformational leader, that is Fally Augustine, and his TPP party that hopes to capture the 2 Tobago seats. So let me just touch on that quickly. So we know Tobago is supposed to be the tourist island. The 2 countries, Trinidad, the 2 islands, Trinidad and Tobago. Tobago is supposed to be the tourism product, and we have brand Tobago that is being dealt with by the THA, because every Monday morning, Fally and Tashia and Trevor and whoever else jumping on plane and flying all over the world, say they're going conference and they're going here and stuff to market brand Tobago so that people, tourists could come to Tobago, spend their money and whatnot, right? Let me get this here. These are the things that we're supposed to be talking about at these meetings. So let me get this here, right? This is an article dated 14 hours ago, entitled Choice Hotels Coming to Tobago. A new hotel currently under construction in Tobago should be completed by next year. Developers of the Elephant Tree Beach Club and Villas are building 126 villas, a 40-room hotel, 2 restaurants, bars, a spa, and a fitness center at Roxborough, with the multi-million-dollar project to be completed by the end of 2025. We're talking US dollars here, right? Gary Olson, the managing partner of Elephant Tree Beach Club and Villas, spoke to the Express via Zoom from New York on Monday. Olson said the project is privately funded with 0 Tobago House of Assembly involvement and 0 public funds. Our goal is to make it a 4- to 5-star resort on the island, which is dramatically lacking at this point, right? And that is very true. Tobago does not have a 5-star hotel. And these are the things that tourists look for. If I go into Tobago and I go on TripAdvisor or Expedia or Priceline and stuff, I'm looking for 5-star hotels or at least 4-star hotels that is all inclusive and stuff. Tobago has a shortage of that. And these are the things that will attract the tourists. Because I don't want to come and I stay in a hotel and then everything that I need to either eat out or either get a taxi, call a Uber, or well, we do have Uber here, but TT ride share, whatever it is, to come and pick me up, I pay extra money to go to the restaurant, all these things. Right. In 2017, Choice Hotels International, a Sen Collection boutique brand, was obtained as part of the Elephant Tree Beach Club and Villas resort development. American multinational Choice Hotels International Inc. is one of the largest hotel chains in the world. As of the third quarter of 2023, Choice Hotels had franchised nearly 7,500 hotels in 46 countries and territories. So it's like the Hyatt here, the government built it, but they bring the brand, so the hotel is marketed under the Hyatt brand, and therefore the government is able to piggyback off of the reputation of the Hyatt brand. And people, when they come, knowing what the Hyatt brand offers, would opt to stay there. That is why the Hyatt Hotel does so well, right? Same thing with the Hilton Hotel, also owned by the government as well. Choice owns brands such as the Radisson and Comfort Inn and Suites. So we know we have a Comfort Inn in Tobago and we have Radisson here. Upon completion, the Elephant Tree will be the largest employer in the hospitality industry on the island. However, an issue has arisen. As a Choice Hotels Ascend Collection franchise was recently obtained for the Manta Lodge in Speyside, Tobago, in light of this, Olson has been trying to meet with the THA. So you all remember the Manta Lodge, which the THA purchased under the previous PNM administration. So they purchased, I think it was the Manta Lodge, and I can't remember the name of the other one. There were 2 hotels that the THA purchased with the intention of renovating, right? And improving the room stock or increasing the room stock in Tobago. When the PDP were contesting the elections in 2020, 2021, when Watson Duke every day was doing 3 and 4 live, he walking all over Tobago talking about levy fix this and levy fix this. He went to the Manta Lodge and he was showing you, he did a live and showing you, look at the state of the place and how much money spent and the police need to investigate and who had to get locked up and all them kind of things. You remember that? But don't worry, when the PDP come in, we go fix this. Well, it was completed under the PNM, right? And so on and right. Right, where reached. Right. An issue has arisen as a Choice Hotels Ascend Collection franchise was recently obtained for the Manta Lodge. So apparently, the THA was able to get this hotel brand to associate with the Manta Lodge. So the same arrangement as I just described for you all with Hyatt, the Manta Lodge will now carry the brand of Choice Hotels Ascend Collection, right? But this other hotel that is being built, the Elephant Tree Resort and Spa, also has the Choice Hotels brand. So in Roxborough, apparently you have now 2 facilities, one owned by the THA and one privately owned, both of them coming under the same hotel brand, Choice Hotels International Inc. Follow me? Right. We made this suggestion to the Chief Secretary that we would not interfere with them going ahead and having that franchise in return for some unused land in Roxborough that we would use to build a food market, a bank branch, probably a pharmacy, and a few other amenities that are not only needed for us, but needed for the east end of the island. There truly isn't anything servicing that part of the island, Olson said. He said he had flown to Tobago from New York to meet with the Chief Secretary, Farley Augustine, but the meeting was cancelled. The Chief Secretary set up a meeting for us to meet face-to-face to make a decision on this, and it was set up by his staff for May 16. I flew in the night before for this meeting from New York, planning on going back the next day, and when I got there, I was informed the meeting was cancelled and that they would try and reschedule. Frankly, that doesn't really sit well with me. And this didn't need to be a long meeting. This needed to be a probably 10 or 15-minute meeting. And when I fly in for just one meeting, which was very clear, it comes off as being very disrespectful. We've continued to ask, and we have been told that they will reschedule a Zoom meeting. And here we are, almost 2 weeks later, and we have never gotten any response from the Chief Secretary or his office. The developer says he needs to make a decision within the next 7 to 10 days. Augustine. Hope for properties to collaborate. Augustine, in responding to Olson yesterday on Manta Lodge being given the right to operate under the same Choice Hotel brand, said the Elephant Tree and Manta Lodge and Dive Center can simultaneously exist under the Ascend Collection umbrella in the same geographical area as many other soft brands do throughout the region. The franchise, granted to EIDCOT, in no way impedes upon the rights of Elephant Tree as a similarly situated franchise holder. In fact, the hope is that the properties will collaborate and jointly improve the room stock on the island for Tobago. In other words, there really is no issue being raised by Choice franchise that has already granted Manta Lodge to go ahead to be part of his brand, Augustine said. He said after successful discussions and negotiations, EIDCOT was granted franchise rights by Choice Hotels International to become a member of the Ascend Collection for the operations of the Manta Lodge. The Ascend Collection is known in the hospitality industry as a soft brand, meaning that it is an affiliation between an independent hotel, such as the Manta Lodge, and a hotel chain, such as Choice Hotels International, which provides some of the benefits of association with a brand, while allowing the franchisee a degree of flexibility not seen with other brands. Right? So in a nutshell, you have the Manta Lodge, whose name I suppose will be changed to associate or to affiliate with the brand, the Choice Hotels brand. And then you have the Elephant Tree Resort, which should also be marketed under, so they may have that name, but they would say a member of the Choice Hotels brand, whatever it is, right? So people looking to come to Tobago and looking for a hotel that is affiliated with a brand that they know offers excellent service, hospitality, and so on, could go there. So these two hotels, these two entities in the same area, right? Elephant Tree is saying to Farley and them, here, we have a problem. We operating under the same brand as all right? So Choice could give that, could assign or franchise the brand to whoever it is that they want. Okay, we know we were coming here with that, but then you all approach the Choice Hotels and all you agree, and they say, okay, no problem. We in the same Roxborough area, but here what now? This area lacking amenities that would improve the experience or enhance the experience for tourists who will come to Tobago and come and stay in either one of our facilities, right? Because when the people come, if they stay in your hotel or they stay in mine, there are certain things that they will need that neither of us will offer. So if they fall sick in the night and they need to go to a pharmacy to get some medication, they have to go ohi. If it is they come in, they decide that, okay, they've checked in and they want to see the island a little bit, but they don't want to come with the US dollars and then people want to go there and get them $5 or so on or so on. We need to have a bank that they could go to. So if they need to get money, they could go in the bank, money, do what they had to do, exchange, get foreign exchange, and the like. We're setting up, it's a whole facility here with all manner of different things. We're setting up a food market. So if it is that they don't want to eat whatever it is the hotel have and they're feeling for a local cuisine, they could just walk down to the food market and get this, as the case may be, see the fare of the country and the island and all of these different things. And we would love to see what other amenities we could put up in this area. But we realize, well, they have some unused land there that ain't really making sense. It's just bush, nothing happening, nothing going on there. We would like to partner with you. as the THA with responsibility for the land. Here what we say, let us collaborate. You provide us with the land, and we will bring the foreign direct investment, the capital. We will bring the US dollars and invest it on the island. And we will build these amenities on the unused land that all they just have there, doing nothing, earning nothing, benefiting no one and nobody. We're not asking Ole for any money. Just provide the land, similar to what the government is doing with Mr. Ambani. We will bring all this US dollars and we will build, and both of us will benefit from it. So if guests come to stay in your hotel, they could come and they could go and patronize this facility and ride it. They could just work. Similar to what obtains in Montego Bay, which is the tourist hub for Jamaica. So when the tourists come there, they could get everything in Montego Bay. They don't need to leave Montego to go Ohio, go down to whatever other areas close by, right? Farley set up a meeting with the people. This is the managing partner of the Elephant Tree, right? Which has facilities other parts of the world. The man come on a plane, come to Tobago to meet with you after let's set up the meeting, and then you wait until when he reached there, and say, hey, meeting cancelled or what? Say what? They feel like come here just so. Yeah, meeting cancelled. So what happening? Well, yeah, we'll get back to you. Don't worry. We're trying to see if we set up a Zoom meeting now, so you ain't got to waste your time to come all the way, fly all the way to Trinidad, to Tobago next time. Yeah, that might be easier to do. We should have done that in the first place anyway. We're sorry for the inconvenience, but enjoy your flight back. This man and his company bring in millions of US dollars to build a facility to benefit Farley. Well, right now he is the chief secretary. Hopefully that will not be the case after 2025. Once Tobagonians return to their right senses. You just dismiss the man. He is, right now, his company is building 124 villas, a 40-room hotel, right? And other amenities. They just invested millions of US dollars on your island, and you dismiss the man just so. And even have a meeting and talking nonsense. Well, the two brands the two hotels we could operate quite, yeah. No biggie. Hopefully we could collaborate and so on. Both of us under the same hotel chain, but that's okay. You could bring in your people and I. Farley, what are the amenities that the THA is building to enhance the tourist experience when they come? Are you going to provide maxis to line up outside Manta Lodge? Hey, anybody need to go to the pharmacy? Yeah, we're going down Scarborough. Scarborough by 2. Scarborough by 2. Yeah. Miss Tourist there with the broad hatch, you going? Right, you need to get some food? Yeah, we're going Scarborough, we're going Canby. Yeah, Canby, yeah. Canby by 2. Come. That's how it's supposed to work, right, Farley? When they could just walk outside and go. But I could just imagine and hear Farley saying, them white people, when we feel we stupid, they want to come here and pay, we must get them free land for them to build a whole set of thing and them benefiting. Then we be collecting the rent from the bank and they will be getting money from the pharmacy and they getting this and we mustn't get nothing and we must get them the land. Let them go so. Let's stay there. They feel we stupid. Massa, they done. I could just imagine, I could just hear him saying something like that. Because when you can't see past your nose, right? When you're so myopic, tunnel vision, no sense whatsoever. This is a man who's going to create employment opportunities when their facility opens. 126 villas, not 20 villas, not 26 villas they're building now. 126 villas, Farley. A 40-room hotel, Farley. You know how much employment they create in there? How much money they invested into the Tobago economy with the construction jobs that they're providing right now? And you couldn't grant the man a 15-minute meeting just to hear him out. Fool him up a little bit now, mama guy him, and say, yeah, all right, yeah, we'll be talking here. You know, that is a good idea. Okay, well, the council will meet and we will make a decision and we will get back to you. You couldn't even do that. Not even that, all you have the good sense to do, right? And the man has this money here to invest and he needs you to tell him something. Because the money is just sitting down there doing nothing. If it is, you're not willing to, well, then we will have to put the money somewhere else. We could invest it somewhere else where we have other plans. You passing up necessary foreign exchange because you're so short-sighted and stupid. Disrespecting the man. I had nothing to do with, but if he white or whatever, I couldn't care. It's not about that, you know. It's about proper protocol and etiquette. The man flew all the way from New York to come here. They didn't send some low-level functionary to say, well, okay, the manager in charge of this or whoever, the VP. They sent the managing partner, the man who is at the top, came himself to talk to you. And you couldn't even give the man a 15-minute hearing. He had to jump on a plane to go back home. And meanwhile, his company just invested millions of US dollars on the island of Tobago, building a facility to benefit your island, your country. Because when the tourists come, they just go in and stay in the resort. They will go about Tobago and see what it is they have, and they will spend money. And you just dismiss the man like that. But you know what? People like JB Harper and Mr. Tuck and all these fools who always posting rubbish on Facebook wouldn't come and talk about that. Come in to post up nonsense about TPP, have the best looking women in Trinidad and Tobago. Post things like that. But all going to post that because you know what, the TPP bright and they have the best interest of Tobago at heart. Right? If it is the lucky, construction has already started. Because if I was that man and I'd say, well, so forget that. We are building nothing here. Come, fellas, there we go, just like sandals. That is the vision, that is the transformational leader, that is Farley Augustine, the Chief Secretary for the Tobago House of Assembly. Right? So, when the tourists and them come, so you blank the man, when they leave, when they come to the Manta Lodge, they will just walk around, oh my, what a lovely piece of open land, unused. Let us go and inspect the flora and fauna here. Oh, look how beautiful. I wonder what plant this is. Oh, wow. Yes, I've never seen such a beautiful lot of unused land. You damn clown. Yeah, but Tobago vote for that. Yeah, well, they vote for that. Let me fix this. Yeah, they're fixing it well. 7701763. Ah, Lord. Anyway. I'm tired. Check this thing. All right, let me try this. Jenny.
Hi, morning, Dominic.
Morning.
Morning to all those who are locked on and all those who will call. You hear me, right?
Loud and clear.
Okay. I was thinking as you were talking here this morning, you spoke about the programs that the Ministry of Youth Development National Services have, the kind of good work that the Minister Foster Cummins is doing. And yet somehow there are a wide cross-section, if I may say so, without doing any kind of data or anything like that, seems still not to know about these programs, right? And I was thinking to myself that, you know what, sometimes I think we may have been, some of us physically been freed of enslavement, but mentally, I think some of us still there. And I'll tell you why I'm saying that. There seem to be to some people that if you're not in a jacket and tie or high heels, you don't have a little accent, and you don't have a little color, somehow it means that you're not intelligent, so that if you were to make a comment, it will be dismissed. But let the person in the jacket and tie or the high heels, the little color, the accent, or went to one of those prestigious schools, you give them a faster hearing. I'll tell you why I'm saying this. And sometimes you kind of does want to be so diplomatic because people ego is so fragile, and sometimes they don't take it as constructive criticism, but rather as a personal attack on them. You kind of try to crouch your language, but you know what? Next year is the election, and if everybody continue to crouch the language because fear somebody will take it as some personal thing. Not going to be disrespectful, but I will tell you this at Ministry of Youth Development National Services. Again, kudos to the minister doing great work. You see the communication department? I had a conversation. Well, you know how I present, right? I'm Rasta, my jeans, the thing, you know how I present. So I had a conversation with the communication, the head of communications, and I was telling the individual, I said, listen, real things happening in the ministry, boy, but people out there getting it. And the response was, but I don't understand, we're on social media. We have a Facebook page. I said, but that alone, not, well, that's what is there. Okay. I said, even the ministry, when you walk in ministry, there's nothing to show. It's a youth ministry. It just darkest. If a youth man walking in the rubber slippers or whatever slippers and the pants thing, rolling in here because you know that's how they like to depict it. And passing our ministry, wondering what I could do, boy, if I get something to do, a little code. They will pass it straight. It is dragged, and even when you get into the foyer, there's nothing there to show it's a youth ministry. We are people still. Image is what does draw our attention. We first catch things by seeing it. That's why when you see KFC, about 10 o'clock, they start to fry the chicken. You walking along the road, they have no interest in buying no chicken. You smell that, your juices in your belly start to grow, and you see this big red and white building. It says the color that attract. There's nothing to attract no youth to go into the Ministry of Development National Services unless the youth actually know that is the ministry. There's no pictures up of our great batsmen and our sportswomen, nothing. It is just be and drab. Again, that is what has hold people attention. So you come in from then they start to ask that question. So I think the communication department, their understanding of communicating, because the young people there, I give them that, young educated people. But now they only think it's social media. So they're on Facebook. They're on Facebook. They have the page for the ministry, and that is enough. And that is not enough because there's another group of people who are not connecting there. They're connecting by what they're seeing. If they walk, they see the ministry, they're coming. What is ministry about, boy? What let us do here? And then from there, you get them inside. But that is not happening. And when you talk about it, people take the position, who is you? What you have? But you don't have you don't have the color and the clothes and the accent and the this and that. And some of those kind of colonial mindset is what keeping us, a lot of us back. Because in the same countries, like America and all those things, they're not what they judge intelligence, But when you have on and your color, whatever it is, when you talk, they look at your paperwork, whatever, when you talk, you come with the idea, they're into innovation, they're into ideas, they're into something new, something fresh, whatever. And the ministry has created that. Something new, something fresh. However, there's still some part of it is not connecting properly. And it may be just the ground area is not connecting to all that they have. But again, as I said when I started, people just say these things as if you're attacking them personally. And once they start to go down that road with me, I tell myself they're insecure. Yeah? But again, when they watch you, they put you, this implicit bias, they put you in that frame. Okay, so she's this or he's this, so them don't have an idea. That is one thing. To it, Farley, again, people get caught up in Tobago with the hype. Something new, something fresh. And again, it didn't translate into something new, something fresh. Because Farley is setting back Tobago about 20, 30 years, and they're not seeing that because, again, they dislike this one, they don't like that one, and he can't talk to we, and from Tobago, and we boy could only get you so far if we boy is not connected to what's happening in the world, And I see somebody put up, this wrongs people that's be doing virtual meetings, the man didn't know that. Okay, then Farley should have set up a virtual meeting with the man. If you set up a face-to-face with an executive who take time off to come flying and then you're not there, you can't simply go, the man's supposed to be up to time with technology. No. Then Farley's supposed to would have said, listen, we're going to meet in a virtual meeting, so we could be anywhere in the world. And then an agreement, you can't tell the person come in person and then you're not there. And they just pass it off. And that is what people not understanding. A slighted word, a slighted look could create a lot of problems. Now that man going back there, you don't know his frame of mind. Damn vexed, you don't know. He may take it that kind of, he'd already say he find it disrespectful. And go back and talk to your executives. And what they do in thing, they just try to recoup all what they would have put out. And I said to Tobago, nothing new, nothing fresh, nothing at all. And we continue with this kind of behavior that is appearanceless. I see somebody's asking about the social media officer. So I clean forget it had one, and sometimes they bring it back to memory. And I'm asking, was it just simply about a career move? Because you cannot tell me you went up for it, and I don't know what condition, but you went for that position. Dominic, you went as an independent, and other person would have gone. You fought for that election, the person who win it eventually. And what are you doing? It can't simply be you look at it as a career move. Because it has work to be done, and we're not seeing anything being put up. If it wasn't for you and social media warriors we have out there, person like Ms. Davy, person like Miss Felix and Google and Bruce and John and Daria and Juliet and so on. There will be no presence. There will be no presence. And on Facebook, it wasn't for you and person like myself and so many others out there who put up the infamous Diane Joseph and so many people. There will not be a presence because this guy is not doing anything. So where does that leave us? And when you talk now, people get all up in the feelings again because of the implicit bias. Who is you? Who is you? You go respectful? Who is you? You get down vexed, you go, well, what's yet now? So where does that leave us? And I'm going to end by saying this. And this morning I'm a little soapbox, as if I'm not ever. But we need to change the mindset how we look at people and just put them in a box. And sometimes the stone the builder refuse. Does end up being the head cornerstone. And I'm saying this, we saw it in your situation, Dominic. Yeah? People prefer to go with whatever team or whatever it is. They totally disregarded your presence. The person that they pick for the social media officer does nothing. And the person who didn't win the post doing everything. And I'm talking in context of bringing the information, putting it out there. Persons like Kevin James and so many others that go back again. And like people in certain positions not understanding the value that the people on the ground, simple to them, doing the work, connecting face to face with the people, hands-on with the people to spread the message to the people. Like they're not understanding that they caught up in. It's on Facebook and we have a web page and that is it. And they're not connecting because if they walk out there, nobody know who they are. They can't talk to nobody because they jump in the vehicle, drive down the road, they condition, the high heels, the dress, the tie and suit, and that's it. While other persons are out there spreading the word and saying, hey, but you know what? You don't get, if you say anything now, the winter about who you're looking for something. It's not about looking for something. It's about people who have the authority, understanding the words of people like us. I'm going to put myself in this, like us out there who doing the work in the interest of country, in the interest of being patriot of this country. It's not so much we want something, we want to, like when the minister go down to Chatham to distribute the land. I hope that social media persons are able to go down there and not just only traditional media, because traditional media will only carry it once and that's it. We're supposed to be down there running our lives, putting it up so people actually seeing this happening, different perspective, all that. I don't know if they will welcome those things. Who is the one to authorize those things? And that's what has to happen now. It has to be everywhere they're doing something's happening, that the social media persons who are on social media, whether through their lives and whether through the posts or whatever, that they are also a part of the untraditional media. We don't want to be like, where's the man Christmas list? We want all that to know. We want to be recognized as no journalists and all them bacchanal, no. But I'm saying, use us to help push the message more. And maybe with the little group that we could bring, or the little block we could bring, what they could bring. And when they put it together, it have a bigger block where the message is spreading. So I just wanted to touch on that this morning because it's a reoccurring decimal. It's over and over. And the quickest way to insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So I'll just leave it there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jen. Yes. Always, contribution is always appreciated, always on point. I have a question to ask. Where is Watson Duke? Where is Watson Duke? This is it Roxborough, Watson Duke's district? Roxborough, Delaford? Where is he? Watson Duke always quick to talk. I would think that something like this, Watson would have been prompt to hold a press conference to rake Farley over the coals for something like this. He has gone quiet. Where is the fighter that was once Watson Duke? Has he been humbled by the little boy that is Farley Auguste? Watson, where art thou? Where art thou, Watson? The man, no, I heard Jen say someone mentioned that the bank could have done a Zoom call. Well, the man say here, they told him, after he came to Tobago to tell him, well, we could reschedule a Zoom call. 2 weeks later, he's still waiting on the link. 2 weeks later, he's still waiting on the email with the link to tell him, yes, this is when we're going to have the Zoom call. Face-to-face is always better. And the fact that he came here in person tells you he's serious. And even in the face of the disrespect that was meted out to him, he's still willing to let bygones be bygones because he sees the benefit. Yes, we build in the villas, the 126 villas, we build in the hotel, we build in all of these things, but we want to offer something additional to these people. Now the man can simply go and say, well, you know what, you can find something else. And he wants to partner with the THA, bring more US dollars, more than what he has already brought. His company has already brought into Tobago. He wants to bring more, right? He wants to bring more into Tobago. And Fali dismissed you. Yeah, check me back now. Me have no time with you. This is the same problem that Hochoi Chai spoke about, where the late Hochoi Charles. Fali set up meeting is such and such date at such and such time, and when he show up, Fali is nowhere to be found. Meeting cancelled. You didn't have the courtesy to tell him, well, here what, something came up, we'll have to reschedule. You couldn't do that, right? I am looking at the amount of money that these people have already invested in Tobago, are investing in Tobago. Without anything, they haven't asked Tobago for anything. How many of us even knew that this construction was taking place, 126 villas and stuff? That wasn't, you basically the media know about our life. They're not about publishing those things. They're not important. So I'm surprised they published this story and it wasn't front page. So again, they allow Fali to get off the hook. Because as far as he concerned, we have Manta Lodge, and he probably figure, well, them coming to compete with Manta Lodge. No, they come in to enhance the area. So that when a tourist come in to decide, all right, where I should stay, right? Should I go to Comfort Inn down in Scarborough? Should I go to the Magdalena Grand? Let me see, what are the amenities close by to the Magdalena? But I'm seeing here, Manta Lodge, well, the Choice Hotel, they have 2 facilities in this area here. So there must be something special about this area. Let me consider it. But then you go on, no amenities. These people, look how many things they want to build. Food market, which would probably be, I imagine, like a food court kind of style thing so people could get, and it creates opportunities for the locals as well to be able to market this stuff there. A bank branch, among other things. A bank branch. If the bank open a branch there, who is going to be working? It's not the tourists, it's the locals will be working there. They're creating employment. All they're telling you, you have this land there, this unused land. Let us negotiate in the same way that the PRM was able to negotiate with Ambani and they to give them 30 acres. The same way in Guyana that the Guyanese are giving this private company 30 acres of land to build a refinery, which the government will have no investment interest in the same way. He don't know about that. So you and Kevin say, yeah, well, all right. And 2 weeks later, you still don't have the courtesy. Even if you realize, well, but you know, a slighted demand, and this man is the head of this company that's building this facility on your island to bring tourists to your island. 2 weeks later, you don't have the courtesy to call the man, Fali, to send an email, and you know, he's telling you, I have money to invest, and I want to invest it in Tobago. I don't want to do like Sanders and run to St. Lucia or run to St. Vincent. I want to spend it in Tobago to benefit your country, your people, your government. Lord Father. Morning to JB Harper. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, my darling?
Morning.
Blessings all of us in the life. Ali Harriet going to his ears. He's a little boy in cloth diapers playing man. Her people in Tobago are great cooks who could knit and crochet and make things from bamboo or calabash. He has set the nation back financially. If you're a businessman, be on time. I am perfectly retirement. 10 a.m. is 10 a.m. My clock is out an hour fast for a full purse. I have to be in a coffee to leave. Fali is hot air with no full purse. I call him a verbal fast. has yet to know business. You want to seat of government without knowing what it's about. Paddy, please resign, step down, go away. You are not serving to be any purpose. Your forward movement has become stagnant. You don't have flies and maggots. On the next issue. Now, let me ask a question now. You serious? About changing the bail bill? When you have people in your party who support wrongdoing, you don't complain then. Swift, he's got firearm, but he's still within the party. You have Alan Ram, who's on the star list, who committed fraud gambler. When you stole from your city, you stole from everybody's nation. Fraud had no gun, it is still a crime. People hear me well. If you love yourself, if you love this nation, if you love your children and your grand and your great grand to come, do not vote UNC. Do not vote Gary Griffith. Because I don't know what is his problem too. He wants to be in limelight. He seems people in surgical cockroach Gary. What happened when you were under the peace partnership? How much crime was done then, Gary? You open him out then? You are what you call it, have been rejected time and time again. There was a guy in South, right? He had a legal gun. His wife left him. He shot her 7 times in a family compound. She got shot 7 times. He killed himself. So we're going to give a legal firearm. What about the mental? Are they emotionally capable of having rejection? Because his wife left him, she's dead. So you say give everybody a gun. No more school children whose psyche still be developed. You take a girl from me, I don't want you, I kill you. What are you going to say about a gambler? Oops, I didn't know. The UN citizens think ahead. They're thinking about in ahead of a sense of the power they want to be in. The UNC is a nation within this land. The flag is yellow. The PM is Kamla. Come have a good day. Everyone be blessed later.
Thank you. Seven 1763. Still have about 20 minutes. Feel free to call in. Let me see here. Hello, good morning.
Hi, Dominic, good morning. How are you going?
Hi, good, sir.
All right. Dominic, very first time I hearing that. What you read there, and you research and got the information and read that out first. I didn't know anything about that. And my take on that whole thing is that Fali has just made it very difficult to the ease of doing business with the THA and to the extent of Tobago. Because you can't have people like that coming to meet you and have a discussion with you, which was arranged. A man at the board of flight and comes to Tobago, and when you reach Tobago, you tell the man that the meeting was cancelled. That is real unprofessional. I'm telling you. Dominic, if that was corporate Trinidad and Tobago and Fali was a CEO, he'd be fired. He'd be fired if he was working with the Anti-Macal group or if he was working under the Massey group of companies as an executive. The board that comes to this thing and fire him and remove him. You can't do that. Do you know how important that is for Tobago? You know the image that put on Tobago? Those chains of hotels are close-knit because they're fierce competitors among each other. And they will be looking at that. And nobody wants to fall into that. So when Farley is fooling himself and going out there and out in England and saying going for business and flying all over the world looking to bring business back to Trinidad and Tobago, when he sit around a table with them, they have that information in front of them because it's out there and people know how you operate. So for somebody, he's going to sell an idea for these people and them to come and invest in the US or pounds or sterling into Trinidad, into Tobago, sorry. They're looking for certain checks and balances. One main thing is that they want to know how they're getting the money back out at Trinidad and Tobago. It'll be Trinidad and Tobago, which Trinidad and Tobago have a strong economy and whatever. So that is one way they really looked at first. But then again, the pressure Bali for better terms and conditions. And Bali will be fiercely looking to get it in, so he will do like Kamala Prasad. He says, okay, don't pay us no taxes till 10 years after. So go ahead and think that don't pay no taxes, no royalties, no taxes. So Tobago would get less revenues from these people, and then in order for him to land deals and to bring it, you know. So you have to be more professional that, okay, nobody didn't say that thing, but if you're going to cancel the meeting, for crying out loud, man, you tell the man, hey, listen, we've rather be scheduled for so-and-so time or whatever it is. I have to reschedule it or have to cancel it, and I'll get back to you or some kind of thing. That would be a little more easier. It still would be more unprofessional, but you allow the man to come to Tobago and then you turn the man back away and doesn't realize that has a triple down effect with these hotel giants. And I repeat it again because they are fierce competitors worldwide. And they look at everything the competitors doing, and they would copy certain things. Some most of them patent the name and the thing, the branding, but most of the hotels and them start to copy one another because they fear the competition. They take pieces, some things that working with other hotels to grow their chain. And it started way back with I think it was Marriott. Back in the war in the United States, when the war started, a man spent millions of dollars. Yeah, I think it was the Marriott himself because Marriott is named after thing there. But the owner spent millions of dollars into acquiring guest houses and changing it to hotels. We want to get offerings like you could get snacks and food and things. Long time it was just you in the United States. It's just used to just rent a room. You see, but they pay gone. He started to give other services like breakfast and dinner and all these things, start putting it into the hotel. And it started a trend. But right after he started it, the war started, and then the money invested, things slowed down. And he ended up back down to saving one. And then after that, after the war again, he insisted in it because he moved his family into it and had to sell out the fire sale, a lot of things, closed down some rooms in the hotel to save money and to weather out the storm of the war. But when the war was open, he come back out in a bang. He went and borrowed money and started to grow that chain, and that started off these other brands start coming in because other people start investing in other hotel brands, and everybody hold on to the brand. So when you see in a thing like situation like that, you have a THA who runs Tobago affairs, and you do something like that, obviously the other brand names and them is looking sharply at that. So if they're going to meet with you, or when they're meeting with you, they already put in safe catches in place for little things that he would want to renege on. So they're going to block certain things before they sign on any dotted line. And that means by putting things like that it would not benefit Tobago, because Tobago will have to put out more to get these people to come. Just as what Kamala Prasad have done. And just as what the contract signed with Mobile One in Ghana, they they did not properly thought out the terms and contract and thing of the contract of the oil deal in Ghana, because it's a fact that Ghana had the oil. So it is just a matter of finding it, drilling it, packaging it, and selling it. And that is the job of Mobile. But the oil belongs to Guyana. So Guyana should have agreed to better terms and conditions, but they just sign on the dotted line and push them back ages. By the time that contract has expired and new one had to be re-signed, maybe we'll start moving away from fossil fuel, because it already started some years ago when Dr. Oli had to go there and talk to the people and Dr. Oli spoke about
Hello? Do you know what happened there, Kola? You there? Do you know what happened? Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Dominic.
Hi,
I just want to publicly thank you for guiding my family member to the OJT program, which have given him employment for 2 years.
Excellent.
And he also showed his other friends how to get into the OJT program, which one of them have gotten. I just want to publicly thank you for that.
You're most welcome.
2-year contract that the government has paid these young people to get experience in whatever field.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Dominic. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Carol.
Okay, then bye.
Always a pleasure to help. Yeah? I think he is posted with the Ministry of Energy. So, congratulations to him. Hello, good morning.
Dom, good morning, me again.
Hi.
The Christmas guy, tip on the side, is a woman, a man is here to go and wrote a book on how to kill. Okay? A man bought the book, committed murder. He was found guilty, and the author books were banned and burned, and he too was jailed. A friend told me that the government wrong. You come to my land and do nonsense, and it's wrong. People like my ex-friend are part of the crime problem. You want to go among gangs, okay? No, there are gangs hand signs, which rivals knew. You were sending a message without nothing by your hands. Now suppose Christmas list has gotten killed. Who would have blamed? Would his family to the government? I want to go to Iraq. Play man with the Islamic country. Either in jail for life, stoned to death or beheaded. And those who defended him, something wrong with them.
What is going on with this thing? I don't know what's happening there, Kola. Apologies. I don't know if it's because I answered it through the laptop instead of the phone. Hello, good morning.
Dominic!
Lord Father.
What's going on?
All is well.
Look here, boy.
Yes, leave it there. What bacchanal coming with this morning?
I see my partner call drop. Is he saying me he doesn't want to talk on Bruce's program and talk, call drop.
Leave it there, you cause it bacchanal. The other call just dropped as well. That's probably because I answered it through the laptop instead of the phone.
Same way he doesn't want to talk on Bruce's program.
Leave it there.
Dominic.
Yes, sir.
You know what was called Dr. Rowley and the former Prime Minister, Mr. and Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Because they got a good thing going on.
Uh-huh.
Dr. Rowley stood up on a platform and he told PNM supporters how he don't copycat. I heard them told the UNC how they don't know how to copycat. Dominic, Dr. Rowley turn around and do certain things similar to the former Prime Minister, if not the same. When the PP government was in power, she put a health center in Carenage in the area Dr. Rowley represents. PNM came in power. Dr. Rowley put a school for she in Siparia. And I'm like, I ain't done yet because I say you have to leave, but I will leave the rest of Sunday, please God. So I will leave it there for now.
Oh, Lord, Father. Eric, you don't need to respond to leave it there. Go ahead. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. We hearing you loud and clear.
Hi. Morning, Dominic. Good morning to the listeners, the callers of the Debunking. Dominic, I wouldn't even waste an ounce of breath on that last caller. He's a persona non grata in my book. Right? So I wouldn't waste my time. Libyan need to get a wife and settle down, have grandchildren, so you have more time to play with them. But when I talk about that foolishness on the program. Right. Now, I heard you talk about the social media aspect of the People's National Movement. I want to get more involved in that, right? And I'll piggyback on what Jenny would have said, right? The People's National Movement, and it's not now. This has been a constant problem within the organization because every time, why people have to wonder and ponder about opportunities out there. It have these young people, Dominic, on TikTok talking all kind of things and say the government ain't giving your people nothing to do. I think it shouldn't have to reach to this point, right? To divulge the information out to the population. But then again, we have people who in the hierarchy of the PNM, right, that feel that they're up there and they want to come down on the ground, right? It's not a situation with me and Jenny last year, during not last year, sorry. Early of this year, January, going there when they had the recommission of the Palisade House, right? And it has certain people that who even wasn't even there when the PNM would have lost the 29-12 in 2010, and we would have been there fighting with the party going forward. Where they were, when things started happening, now, and things nice now, all they want to come and talk down to the ground troopers, right? Who was there in Bully Midnight all with Dr. Rowley to get back into office, right? It has some people inside of that. But they need to get rid of them because it's going to cause the PNM downfall. It has somebody who said they only studied friend and career. At the hell was everything else. Now I'm not blasting the government, I'm not blasting the party, but I just see a spade, I just call a spade, and I not pattern and powdering. Just how the UNC getting blazed, PNM getting blazed the same way too. I'm not pretending, right? My whole thing is the public relations and the social media aspect of the People's National Movement needs to get the act together, right? We out here doing the groundwork, but we need to get that level of commitment, right, to get the machinery out and running. Dominic, the UN, and it is one thing I always say, if it's misinformation or propagandism, that is UNC style, they will put that in your face 24/7. Whether it's truth, not truth, misinformation, you name it. They putting that out in the public space, and they are putting that in the minds of the electorate. So when the government now put up a press conference or whatever, they will say, as you rightfully said, that's an election gimmick. I had 9 years a day, and they know about that. Or coming the last year for election, and this is what people that harp on. Yes, you might have those who will be soft-headed and want to say, well, they like the Wednesday camera, whatever. But the People's National Movement, PR, the public relation and social media, I don't know how much time, Dominic, we will be saying this. We will talk from this from now until the roosters come home to rest. They cannot wait until next year, January. Or they have to start from now. You understand? Don't wait. They should be having this. You USC have the press conference every single day. They have Sunday, they have Tuesday, they have when them talk something, we have we supposed to have people there to respond appropriately. So they will, when they say A, we have B right behind with the facts to present to the population. It's a lot of people on social media, they're blinking lazy, they're blasted lazy, I should say. All them PNM pages, they just sit down in laurel. You understand? And as I will say, even if you, Dominic, you, Jenny, myself, Diane, and a few others who want social media who let actually give the information out there, right? John and John. Well, Juliet, I know what's going on with Juliet these days because right now I'm hearing that I was playing games with you right now. You understand? He playing games. Well, he I know too. Because for a black man, you selling yourself short for what? For money? And that's that biasness and that's that pretentious behavior that's going with these people. They're not truthful with themselves. That's why I see me. And at this program, you want Dominic. And that's it. I'm not going to really sit down there hear what they have because they're not being truthful to themselves. You understand? But with that being said, my whole thing, I am really disappointed in the way how the People's National Movement, PR and social media aspect is behaving right now. It's not about friends, it's about getting the job done and putting the pertinent information out there to the young uprising generation to come. You understand? That is my whole thing. I'm really, really upset. And until we are going to continue talking about this until it gets to them. Right? I'm really, really upset. So Dominic, look on listening.
Thank you, sir. Hello, good morning.
Hello, morning.
Good morning.
Dominic,
yes,
good again. Dominic, the man who calling for 9 years straight and telling us misinformation and blatant lies, Dr. Rowley, and Dr. Rowley do this and Dr. Rowley all over, calling Darian Martel program, take a whole set of time in the cross-reference Darian Martel to him, corrected his own lies. Not Darian, he corrected his own lies and he didn't realize it until after. And he said that Darian cut him off. Lie. The man does lie real bad. We know he lied. He know he lied. Yet still he's still lying. Or you want to come and talk about who call him taking up time. All that time you taking up 9 years. 9 years, they never change your topic. Not one day you change your topic. You stick that topic out, Dr. Rowley. And you come in to tell people how much time you're taking on something. There's nothing contributing to the country. Nothing. You put that idea forward that people can sit down and listen and say, okay, yeah, there's a good thing and the government should. Nothing. Everything is Dr. Rowley, what Dr. Rowley do, and how he do manning this, and he do manning that. And today now, he called to say on that boy program, he called to say he's supporting Michaela Pandey. Well, good luck with you and Michaela. Michaela is a happy woman. She's a beneficiary of the London bank account. and the London luxurious apartment. What will you get? I have plenty more than you leave it, but I will leave it.
Thank you, sir. I could probably take one more quick call. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Dominic.
Hi, Zina.
Good morning.
Morning.
Well, boy, your program is hard to get into. I don't know how Leave It There does do it. I don't know. He has some kind of magic in his fingers. Just a call to say Leave It There and Father Dr. Rowie soon. Dominic, I just want to say hallelujah, amen this morning to all that you've said and what you've offered in terms of suggestions for our PR. In MPR. I have said it over and over. Remember, I tell you that when I got in the last time that I leave in it there like my boy away. I have nothing more to say. But I want to offer them one suggestion, which I want to, last time I'm going to say this. God forbid. I don't want people to say I'm a recurring decimal. I want to suggest to my PNM party, just like our election, they send us out with speakers, vans with mics, and you're talking and calling people out to meetings and things. Let your ministers deal with their councillors and let them organize, spend some money and send out people to bring out the youths. Even if they have caravans going to areas, send around the loudspeakers, all them out. To come to the community center or wherever and meet us there, what we have in and roll out everything. And what I heard was a comment put out there on John and Saturday. I find I could make a tape of that and play it on a lot of radio stations. What I want to ask is something, Dominic. I want you to research it and tell me because I don't know who to call. There, from what I understood, the media, when you're going to operate a media house, that the government is allotted 15 minutes on every radio station every day. However, they want to break it down, it's up to them. Whether it's 5 minutes bites, whether it's 2 minutes, whether put out what you're doing. I want to know if that is not true because I am not seeing them using that strategy at all. That station stuff, nothing positive that is going on. So I'm putting that out there. I don't know if that is really true with that, but I would like to hear. I would like to get a confirmation on that because remember we used to have government programs long ago on station. Everything shut down and the government come on and give you educate the children, and so I need to bring back things like that. Anyhow, I want to tell you, like you have to start to learn the practice. Leave it there, sick up in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Have a blessed day, Dominic. Keep up the hard work.
Thank you.
Bye.
Right, so folks, it is 9:05. I told you I'd have to jump off a little early today, but I went till 9 o'clock, so I'll just adjust my schedule for the day. But always a pleasure to chat with you guys, share things that may not have come across your radar. As I said, when I saw that issue with Fali, we keep talking we need to diversify the economy, but when opportunities presents itself to diversify the economy, that is what happens. When you waste your vote, or you didn't take advice because we want something different. PNM too disrespectful, PNM this and PNM that. If it wasn't for the foresight of the PNM to purchase Manta Lodge, they have money, but anyway, they could pay for private jet, right? Could pay for private jet. But we'll see how this situation sorts itself out. Because as the man said, he's working out that timeline. There's money to invest. Let's see if Fali will have a change of heart now that this has been made public. It doesn't seem so, but yeah, as a transformational leader according to what's his name, Fall Street. That's how a transformational leader operates. Good job, Tobago. Well done. Well done. Continue to do foolishness like that. And the other islands will benefit. And then all they're talking about Brand Tobago and Brand Tobago. Right. We concern, oh, what would the world think about the arrest of Christmas list? But what would the international investment community think about how the Tobago House of Assembly, and no less a person than the man who considers himself to be the Prime Minister of Tobago, treated with a man who's heading a company that is investing millions of US dollars in Tobago and wants to invest more? That's how you're treated. So Rohim Bharat or qualify. Forget that if you want to come and, yeah, forget that. Listen, Trinidad is open for business. When you come to Trinidad, we will welcome you with open arms. It have the few who will have issues, but forget it. The rest of us, with common sense, we welcome you all with open arms. Come and open all your hotels here. Go up Toko. Go up Blanchy Shares. Like all yourself. Folks, have a great day. Make it a productive one, as I always say, and God's willing, we will chat again on Wednesday, Tuesday, but we'll push the week done. We will chat again on Sunday morning, 11 o'clock. Same place. Yeah? See you all then.